Stand down or die. Stand down or die. I cannot do that. Stand down or die.
Hello and welcome to the Ignite Shield Rush Forge Card Guide. This crazy paintball build comes back to give you a headache once again. On Season 2 I have tested this quite a bit because there's been a lot of changes on Sentinel, and we're still going for a Jasper setup because the damage is like almost 10 times as anything else. You can also play this build as a Paladin, but you are not gonna have the tankiness that Ring of Shields provides. So I decided to go for Forge Card for that reason. But if you want to play something similar with a Paladin with the new Ignite nodes on the top, you definitely can. You're just gonna be way less tanky, and the damage difference is not that big. For that same reason, we are not using Forge Master's Might. I have tried playing with a Bardiche and a shield and stuff, but it's just not the same. You know, the Bardiche version is doing like 2 million DPS, where the Jasper's version is doing like almost 12 million DPS. So again, it's too much DPS to lose, and again, Jasper's, you know, it gives you 1400 ignite chance once you stack it. So it's very hard to beat this in terms of damage, as you can imagine. Not to mention it's a staff, and you can actually craft elemental damage over time on it, which gives you 700% increased elemental damage at tier 7. So again, it's very hard to compete with this weapon, so instead of going for a full block with a shield, you're gonna have around 75% block. You're still pretty tanky. I mean, this build, if you're playing this build, you're probably playing softcore anyway, so yeah, let's get into the build. Again, has good DPS, it's easy to play, it's very crazy, and like I said, it's very chaotic and very crazy and disco build, like LSD build. So again, if you're the kind of person who likes Flicker Strike and this kind of things, you might enjoy this build. Otherwise, maybe it's not for you. Okay, we of course are benefiting from the multipliers that Shield Rush has, and if you have extra points, you can even go for the laser beams. The laser beams help a lot with clearing trash because they actually do quite a bit of damage. Sigils, again, symbols of hope now. They changed the name. They give us a lot of ignite, they give us a lot of damage, and they give us block. Pretty quintessential symbol setup for an ignite build. And the benefit from this patch is that you don't actually have to cast them, so it's very lots of quality of life compared to before. For Ring of Shields, like again, the main thing that we're interested here is this buff, the block effect on heal, and the fact that the shields block projectiles for us. You need to grab this point here to make sure that Martyrs procs, right, when a shield dies. That way, because when you get healed by any amount, this procs, so it's very important. I have also been testing a bit with this node, Rush Wall. In the patch notes, in the final patch notes, it says that they have fixed this and it's actually increasing your area. So I guess I'm gonna include it in the guide. But again, when I tested, there wasn't that much difference, honestly. But apparently this should give you slightly more AoE. Again, pretty good tankiness. Ring of Shields is broken. You know, you're gonna have 3000 block effect just because of this. Volatile Reversal, we're still gonna use it mainly because there's nothing much. There's not much we can use with this build otherwise. You could use the Devouring Orb or something, but you don't really get much from it. So we're just using it as a defensive tool with the armor mitigation goes to dots, and for the extra damage taken buff. This build, while it has been heavily nerfed damage-wise because of the lack of Volatile Reversal, It still gets some buffs. For example, on the Paladin tree, you have access to this penetration with Ignite and this shred per strength, which is really good. So these two nodes are kind of nice. And you also have a defensive buff with this node, because remember, with this build, your HP is going to be going up and down, so the endurance actually comes into play more than you would think. You still, of course, cap your block, and you do the classic setup. Again, if you wanted to go for a more of a damage over time mitigation setup, you could take points off here and put them there. Again, there's tons of things that you can explore, but like I said, the one thing I don't recommend is going Forge Master's Might, even though it's very tempting on pretty much every Forge guard. Don't underestimate Crushing Blows, because it gives you like around 20% damage. 10% damage? Well, it's based on the cost. Your ability costs around 50 mana, so yeah, around 20%. Something like that. Again, classic, you know. You keep in mind that you're gonna be converting all Blitz into Ignites, so with Melin's Hubris. So yeah, really good, you know. Again, I explained here, right, that if you don't have Jaspers yet, you can play with a Bardiche and put the 5 points into Forge Guard for the Bleed chance that will get converted. But once you get Jasper, obviously it's not an axe anymore, so take off these points and put them somewhere useful. Again, the gameplay is pretty easy now that you don't even have to cast sigils or anything. You just spam Shield Rush, you use Volatile Reversal for the buffs, and then you move around with Healing Hands. Healing Hands, it's also very cool because it will heal your Rings of Shields. So, you know, if you have a Ring of Shields up, that by the way I haven't mentioned this, but the Rings of Shield, you don't even need to cast them manually if you don't want to, because it makes mana bin Monka. They're gonna be proccing thanks to Shield Crafter automatically, so you're always gonna have shields pretty much. And basically, if they take damage while you're mapping and you cast Healing Hands, the dash itself is gonna heal them. So Healing Hands cooldown is gonna be reduced by a lot. So yeah, I don't know. You will probably see it on the footage, but you will see that eventually. Sometimes you can even chain like a couple Healing Hands in a row, making the build quite fast actually for what it is. You know, considering you're like a yo-yo going up and like up, you know, up front and backwards, up front and backwards. Again, pretty cool stuff. Very nice stuff, and you have damage reduction while channeling Shield Rush, so use it accordingly. Like I said, for the uniques, lots of classics, you know. Remember that in this season we're gonna be guaranteed slamming items, so for that reason I'm recommending a bit more uniques than normally, because they're just so easy to get in comparison. Again, Flames of Midnight, Penetration, Movement Speed, you want this on pretty much any Fire, Necrotic and Void build, if not more, right? This will give you +1 plus the Bleed stuff that gets converted to Ignite, so it's a solid option just as a base. It's not mandatory, but it's okay. Again, you want to get your Throne of Ambition eventually for the more damage. You want to get the idols, actually for this build are pretty crazy for the season, because you can get damage over time, fire, Ignite duration, block effect, Ignite chance. Again, these idols are strong, to say the least. And yeah, another notable option are the Fiery Dragon Shoes, you know, to help you cap your crit avoidance and just like frack. Bleeding Heart, extremely important for sustain. If you don't have Bleeding Heart early, you might want to be using something else for sustain, okay? Very important. Again, remembering you to use a Bardiche before you have Jasper. Classic scaling, you know, all the Ignite chance, all the Bleed chance, all the stuff. It's explained everything here, all the nuances. And yeah, obviously block, leech, and you're good to go. Again, not much changes on this one. I explained here that why, you know, Forge Master's Might is kind of bait, I think, for this build, because you just lack all the damage, and you kind of play this for the damage, right? So again, I hope you guys enjoy the guide. It's a pretty crazy, not many changes. I hope you enjoy them, and I'll see you on the next one.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. cannot do that.
You will take my place! The judges will find you. Freedom at last! I did nothing wrong.
I cannot do that.
Corruption! The void cleanses all! You can't hurt me! Break before me! You can't hurt me! No! I can still fight!